All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are super excited to speak to you about some of the hiring challenges that we're seeing out in the industry. So I thought while we're letting a few people trickle in here, we could start by just letting some folks say where they're joining us from. It's like, what city are you joining us from? I'm from lovely Carmel, Indiana, where we are abuzz with the Indy 500 going on this weekend. So glad to see everyone.
Yeah, hey, Adam Robinson joining from Chicago.
All right. And I am Josh Bergen, joining from beautiful Central Florida, a little bit towards the East Coast there, enjoying sunny weather.
Nice. Yeah, I was saying it's 85 here in Indiana today. So we're kind of right there with you. Not my favorite, but at least it's not 30 and raining. So, all right, we got some Nebraska, another Midwest. All right, guys. Okay, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. So again, thank you all for joining us today. We are joined by two of the industry first-class, well-known, well-respected pros. They'll be sharing us their insights and experiences, from each other's unique perspective, again, around the challenges with hiring. Do a little intro here. Adam Robinson is the co-founder and CEO of Hireology. His mission is to help business owners make better hiring decisions using the predictive data and innovative technology. He's been in the business more than 20 years. He is a noted recruiting industry expert and speaker, and he's also the author of the book, The Best Team Wins, Build Your Business Through Predictive Hiring. And then we have Josh Bergen. Josh is the president of CyberTek. Josh has quite an interesting background. I think Josh has had a heart for hospitality that started at the beginning when he worked at McDonald's in high school. He then went on to work in various roles throughout the hospitality industry, everything from housekeeping to front desk to night audit to accounting, you name it. And then in 2017, Josh joined Venza as the VP of marketing, taking on the role of president in 2018. And then now, most recently, like I said, Josh is the president of CyberTek. Introducing myself, I am the director of hospitality partnerships. I have been in the industry for 15 years. I started my job at Dairy Queen, so that was the beginning of my career. But yeah, I've been in the hospitality industry for 15 years, working with all the major brands and independent properties, management companies, stadiums, restaurants, you name it. And one ever-present challenge in all conversations was the struggle to fill open roles and hiring the right people. So thank you again for joining us today. All right, what I wanted to start with is, this is the data from our most recent applicant study. We'll be releasing this information next month, but as you can see, like 67% of hospitality job seekers say they accepted the first job offer they received in their last job search. 38% of hospitality job seekers say they would take a lower paying offer for better schedule flexibility. And 54% say they primarily use a smartphone to complete their most recent job search. So a lot of interesting data. All that being said, Adam, let's start with you. Why do you think the hospitality is feeling the brunt of today's hiring challenges more so than other industries?
I think it comes down, Amber, to basic supply and demand imbalance in the labor market. So, we have experienced employers in this space, a historical imbalance of labor supply relative to the demand for labor. So, we, for the last 4 years, have been in historically low unemployment, where, as recently as the beginning of this year, we've, got 2 open positions for every 1 job seeker out there looking. And so all that's to say, if the 10 million open roles, we've got today, and the 5.5 million job seekers took one of those jobs tomorrow, we'd still have 5 million open jobs. I mean, it's been bananas. And then you layer on that the fact that, if there was one industry that was hit hard, harder than any during COVID, it was this one, right? So hospitality bore the brunt of the job losses. And if there was one industry that has been the most resilient since lockdowns ended, in the end of the pandemic, it has been this one. And so we've got historic labor tightness combined with a historic growth from the pandemic lows. And that, combine that with the fact that, here in the United States, we're making it pretty tough for folks to immigrate into the country and become a part of the workforce. You've got this perfect storm of imbalance in the market, and operators are really struggling right now. It is as tough as it has ever been, and this data really highlights the reasons why. If you want a job today, you can get a job today. And if I want to work, I'll take the first thing that I get that I like. Meanwhile, so what that means is I've got my choice. So if my choice is between 2 employers, the one that offers me the flexibility I've become accustomed to through the pandemic is the one that's going to win my business, so to speak. And I'm going to do it in a way that I'm used to doing. And that means on my phone, right? I'm not going to jump through your hoops. I'm gonna go with the employer who meets me where I am. And it's just all of these things together have just really put pressure on the business. And, for those listening that think this is a moment in time, I don't want to throw water on this, but like, it's not going to be any different. It's going to be hard forever. This is a forever issue. It's just exacerbated now. It went from challenging to really tough. And I think it's going to be tough for the next decade, frankly. So if you're hoping you can wait this out and wait for the labor market to come back into balance for our industry, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think you're always going to have demand exceeding supply, particularly for roles like housekeeping, where there's just not enough people willing to do the work. Relative to what we have out there in the market.
Yeah, 100%. Josh, curious what you're seeing as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is focused on, think of the evolution of the different jobs in hospitality in just a 3-year window. At our company, we've often referred back in 2020 that we were doing our business continuity planning, and we did a drill on sending people home remotely. Now, for front desk and for housekeeping and maintenance, you can't just do that. But luckily, we're more on the tech side. So we were doing a drill. And then the drill became, 2 months later, a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a everybody work remote drill. And then 2 months later, the drill went from, you got to work remote, you have to stay home now. So in hospitality, I think what you've seen over the last couple of years, though, you got to look at all of the jobs in hospitality, not just the housekeeping and the front desk and the sales and the banquet and the food and beverage. You have all of the corporate jobs also. Mm-hmm. So now that corporate accountant or that corporate IT person or the corporate marketing or HR person that it would always come into the property, were forced to go work remote when companies didn't think they could do a remote workforce. Now trying to pull them back in is almost impossible. And then to add on to that, you're now competing, and I'll pick on IT, hello, CyberTek, but for a hotel IT job, unless it's a hands-on in-shop job, you are now competing with every large tech firm in the country or in the world, where before you were only competing in your market. So now, we've been competing for human capital. And that's where, like Adam was saying, that speed to offer change the dynamic. You know, we used to say, you know, hire slow and fire fast, right? Get rid of the bad and make sure you take your time with hiring. Now it's no, you have to have your buttoned up screening process. You have to have applicants on hand. You have to be ready to strike. You have to be proactive with what positions do you think you need next month or the month after, even if it's not open now, which is very risky to put jobs out there. And then it creates that weird, I've applied for your job and now you're not responding to me. So you got to be able to keep in communication. So I think there's so many dynamics that we don't know what we don't know, like for next year. But, you know, if you ask somebody in 2019, what your competitive set was, it was within a 30-mile drive. And now I'm trying to fill a position here, and they could be in Washington, and I'm in Florida. I mean, one last other thing that's changed the dynamics is my wife and I, as an example, we had started a restaurant, which we still have. And when we rolled that out, you know, you had to hire about 25% more staff than you needed. It was a franchise requirement. So that's all. A lot of the hotels are franchises and a lot of restaurants are. So you have to have an influx of staff for those types of things, which then goes back to, again, better flexibility, better schedules, like the statistics shows. And how are you reaching them and how are they applying? Well, look at your labor market. The dynamics are changing for the volumes of in-store is what I call it. So whether that's in the hotel or in the restaurant or on the cruise ship or in the casino, whatever, those in-store jobs, you're still competing locally, but the demographics of the applicants is shifting drastically, which is why we've had to go and promote our jobs in other areas of the colleges, like not just the hospitality program, which my university has a great hospitality program, go Knights, go UCF Knights, but now you have to go promote in the HR degree program and the accounting degree program and the marketing degree program, and tell those students there's a career in hospitality. They may never even search there. So you got to go target them like you would marketing, right? Like you would to get customers.
Absolutely.
You got to target these new people.
Right. Like we say this and notice this internally, you got to market your jobs like you're marketing your guest rooms. You've got to appeal to the candidate like you would try to appeal to someone you're getting, to come stay in your hotel. So along those same lines, what are some steps that you think hospitality employers can take to make the jobs seem more appealing to job seekers? Adam, what have you seen?
So I think, something you touched on is really at the core of this. Philosophically, we can't think about the process of recruiting like an administrative function. And that's really what this industry has treated it like over the last 25 years. Recruiting is an HR thing. HR departments in hospitality organizations are generally focused on payroll and risk mitigation and employee management and policy and procedure and onboarding and all of the things that, are risk areas to the business or process-driven areas to the business, right? You've got to run payroll accurately, correctly, and consistently on time, or else you have some big issues, right? So HR in general is built around an administrative, supportive paradigm. But that's not how recruiting works. Recruiting is a sales and marketing function, and it's not administrative. And the operators that we see where they're struggling more than their peers is where they're treating recruiting and hiring with that administrative mindset. This is we're going to process resumes. When in applications, right? And we're really, it's going to be on our terms. When the winning formula is really, as you said, Amber, to retail these jobs like they're products. That's the core philosophy that's required for success. Number one, as an operator, you have to think, am I doing everything I can be doing to market and promote the opportunity and to sell these jobs like products, because that's exactly what they are. And to be successful in the market, they need to be retailed digitally online, just like any other product that's retailed online, because the same person you're trying to recruit into your property is the same person that's accustomed to next day delivery with Amazon, to having their preferences noted on any site that they shop at, to have speed and efficiency and consumer-like tech and experience in the whole process. And if you don't have that, it's noticeable, right? Relative to operators that do have those things. So we have to retail jobs like products, and that involves first understanding your market. Different jobs require different messages. And so, whether, on Josh's side of the house where we're running the IT shop, it's a very different thing to market opportunity and hospitality to an information technology professional with 15 years of experience than it is to market the building maintenance roles, engineering roles, or the housekeeping roles. It's not to say that one's easier than the other, but they're different. When you go to shop for a vehicle, the marketing for automobiles isn't, we have cars. Come, if you need a car, we'll sell you a car. There's different models, they're different makes, they're targeted different income segments. If you're like me, you've got, four kids and you need the 3-row vehicle or the minivan, and they're going to sell you on the fact that there's a vacuum installed in that Honda Odyssey. And as a parent, I can tell you that that's super convenient. On the other hand, if you're looking for speed and performance, they're going to market that differently. But in this industry, you go to the career sites of some of the largest operators, and what you see is, we have jobs. Would you like some jobs? And really what we need to do is say, look, there's different segments in the market. We've got new entrants coming out of school or coming into the labor force for the first time that maybe haven't considered careers in this industry. There's a marketing plan to reach them. You talk about how fun and exciting this industry is, the career path, the growth, the entrepreneurial nature, the destinations, the experience, the service aspects, all of those things. But someone who's seasoned in the business, they may already know that. And we're going to be selling why we're better than someone else, right? If you're experienced in this industry and you're looking for these things, we want to talk to you. Or contrast that with housekeeping roles, where the driver for housekeeping is consistent hours pay and fair and flexible workplace policy. So we're going to be selling different things to different segments of the market, just like we'd configure different products, select service, full service, luxury properties, right? They're different segments of the market. We market these things very differently. You have to think about your jobs in the same way. That's number one. Right? If you're not thinking about recruiting as a sales process and about your recruitment advertising as really a marketing function, I think you've got a real opportunity. And so, after that, it's a function of understanding where your target audience lives and reaching them where they are. So, job boards, kind of a you have to do it type of thing. You've also got your best recruiters working for you. Right? There's, referral programs are generating 30 or 40% of all hires for some of our most successful hoteliers, using our referrals platform. It really, your career site, organic traffic, you got to do all of it. Unfortunately, table stakes have risen, and it's just prerequisite that you have the tooling you need to be able to do this. Because chances are, if you're listening to this, it's you and one or two other people tasked with keeping your property staffed. And it's just too easy to pick up the phone and call that contract staffing company and get the housekeepers that you need. And that's in fact what this industry is doing right now, because contract labor rates are up almost 80% in the last 3 or 4 years. And of course, if you can't turn rooms, you can't sell them. But if you can't make money, you're not going to be in business very long. And so these dynamics are at play. I think you need to, work this supply demand imbalance to your advantage by being really innovative in how you sell the opportunity and the work.
Right. And having, I think, access to what's working for you and what's not, and being able to pivot based on that data, right, is a critical piece, because you may be spending thousands of dollars in a job board that's not really producing anything. And unless you're able to measure that, you don't really know what to do or what to try next.
And I'd say, this, and then really interested to hear what Josh's take on this is, job boards are a fantastic source of applicants. If you're not getting back to applicants within 24 hours of submittal, you are wasting your money. And in fact, through our close partnership with our friends at Indeed, what we know through data sharing between them and us is that the speed to response is the single most important factor. The first respondent makes the hire 60% of the time. And you can see here, in our own report, the applicants are saying, yeah, I took the first job that I was offered that made sense. So now in Indeed's new pricing algorithms, I think they've done something pretty smart. And they basically said, if you get back to the job seeker faster, you're going to pay a little bit less.
Oh,
You're right. It's incentivizing better candidate experience, because what we want and our job board partners want is for you to fill the role. But what we know needs to happen for you to do that is for you to be really responsive, really quickly, really tight on process. And so, that's the number one most important thing. If you change nothing else, improve your response rate, you're going to improve your hiring success.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Josh, thoughts?
Well, I want to add a little to some of that response rate. Continue to hammer that point is you got to have the technology, and then you also have to have the human factor. And let's bite off a little bite of reality here. The reason why I'm so engaged with Hireology is from learning about the technology at HiTech about a year or so ago, and trying to understand those dynamics. I was very spoiled. And let's name drop at now Travel and Leisure, formerly known as Wyndham Vacation Ownership, because they had an amazing way to market their jobs. They marketed the benefits of the jobs. It was a whole team and technology, because they understood the mathematics of the funnel, right? So if you needed to just fill 20 jobs a month at a particular location, well, then you knew what that funnel meant. So to get 20 yeses, then you needed don't quote me on the math, but you needed to have 40 people that you got down to the final interview. And then
That's
to get
exactly
40 people, you had to have 80 people that were at least screenable worthy. And then if you had 80, you had to have, double that of just flow in a weekly basis. So because they had that mathematical science and knowing that they know that they have to hire in 90 days. They knew. So I don't know why still I'm not poo-pooing any of my hospitality friends, because I'm one of them, but being surprised that you have to hire a front desk or a night audit or a maintenance person next month, if you are surprised that you have to do that, then you are clearly not been in the business long enough. Or if you're not sure where to recruit, that's when you got to start reaching out to partners. One of my favorite places, and I hate to say this, so you're going to have to beep this out, but to steal maintenance workers was from Lowe's and Home Depot. So if anybody from Lowe's or Home Depot listening, this is not a session for you. But in hospitality, you know why? Because go talk to any maintenance person at almost any hotel and find out, why did you go to Home Depot 13 times this month? Oh, I needed to get this, and I needed to get that, and I needed to get whatever. Well, those are the people that know how to tinker and work and fix everything. So it's also changing the dynamic of what pond you're fishing from or where you're pushing your benefits to. And again, now my hotel is competing with a multi-billion dollar, home improvement store that you didn't even think that's who you're competing with, but they'll be the first person to take your maintenance worker. So now we have businesses fighting over skilled labor. And those flexibilities or that schedule, or, hospitality has fluctuating needs based on seasons and all these other things, or times of day or weekends. Like for our support desk, we always joke, there's only a problem in hospitality after 5 p.m. somewhere. So depending on what time zone you're in, and always on weekends and holidays. So if that is a true statement with historical facts forever, then you need to schedule, and I'm going to add this last little nugget in here about the flexibility again. You have to train people when they are going to be scheduled to work. And that's something that I've found that a lot of people have not managed to overcome that. They'll come and train them Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but we need you to work 3 to 11. Well, you're interviewing to work 3 to 11 or a certain schedule, and then all of a sudden you immediately have a conflict. So you have to also adapt how you're training and how you're scheduling. And again, Travel and Leisure, aka Wyndham Vacation Ownership, has done an amazing job from my prior experiences in Orlando, that they've done it for corporate and they've done it for their resorts, and they've done a hybrid of what Adam was saying between contract outsourced labor and internal versus one or the other. But it's all about that schedule management. It's all about that flexible schedule.
Sure.
But you might have to hire more people to do that. Like you might have to have twice as many employees that need half as much schedule to get the right amount of FTEs, full-time equivalent headcount. And people just shy away from that. Like, oh, I can't hire 20 people. I only need 10. Well, if you can do great schedule management and great flexibility, which takes a different leadership style, you can get longer tenure, which reduces training costs and, makes people more effective and more efficient and more loyal. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. Well, guys, we have a little bit over a minute left. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with? And please, anyone in the chat, if you have questions, throw it in there and I will try and get it in here the last few minutes. And if not, we will take note and get back to you. So Adam?
Yeah, a couple of final thoughts. If you're responsible for staffing and you're listening on this call, what I want you to do at the conclusion of this webinar is to get out your phone and try to apply to a job at your own hotel. And I want you to audit that process and ask yourself a few questions. Is this an enjoyable experience? Does it feel like I'm being marketed or sold to? Or am I required to create a login to apply or look for work? Is the form field not built for mobile and ask me to retype my work experience with my thumbs? What's the response rate for a recruiter to get back to me? I mean, just experience what your candidates are experiencing, because what I often find is when I'm talking to a general manager and he or she says to me, we have a recruiting issue, what we uncover after a couple of moments together is really, it's not really a recruiting issue. What you've got is a marketing and response rate problem. You've got a conversion rate issue. You've got plenty of demand. You're just not converting it. People, the bounce rate on your career site is really high, or you're just not getting back to people quick enough. And then second thing I'd add is on that front, I don't want to issue a challenge to you. If you're using email to correspond with job seekers today, you're doing it wrong. Set a goal for yourself within 12 months. It's SMS only or text only, right? You need to be leveraging text messaging to run these processes. I often, if I'm speaking to a management team, I'll ask the question, raise your hand if you've got more than 5,000 unread emails in your personal inbox. Now 10, 20, 60, my all-time high is 165,000 unread email messages. And of course, most of it's spam or marketing. But all that's to say, about 30% of recruitment emails get opened and replied to, or interview scheduling requests get opened and replied to, but 99% of all text messages are opened within 5 minutes. And that's true, right? I might not be donating to your political campaign, thanks for spamming me, but I still read the text message. Text is just the way to go. You've got to get there. You've got to get there very, very quickly. Just moving from email to text is going to triple your ability to get responses from the market. And that's 3 times better conversion on your job board spend, 3 times better conversion on your career site, and 3 times more efficiency in filling open roles.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Josh, final thoughts?
All right, so I'm going to leave you with this one, and it's a little self-indulging for our company, but I think it's important for people to understand. We have 3 core goals at Venza and CyberTek, and I'm only going to talk about one, and we're not even going to have to get into details. But to understand, it's at the core of our soul. We have one of our core company goals of 3. So 1/3 of our goals is around one item, and it's called attract and retain top talent. So I will tell you, you can go on many people's websites, et cetera, and they will tell you about benefits and their organization and their charities and then all these, which is great. Those are all things you do to help, fulfill this goal, but we have it as a core company goal. I don't know how long they've had it because I've only been here just over 5 years, but since the day I've been here, it's been something that we talk about on a regular basis. And when we're looking for our talent, is to recruit and retain top talent. And I think that there's a lot of people that just don't have it as a core goal or initiative to always be focused on. Of course, we have sales and budgets and all these other goals, but talent management is a core goal. And it is the only reason, second to product, or even first to product, because the talent is the one that makes the product. It is the only reason, in my opinion, why CyberTek and Venza have been successful is because of the people we've been able to attract and retain through the staffing processes that we're open for improvement, and we're still improving every day. I challenge everyone to have a goal like that at their company, and then find the combination of technology and human capital that will allow you to deliver and achieve and maintain that type of goal and have it measured. What's measured is watched. You got plenty of ways to figure out how to measure that, but attract and retain top talent should be at the forefront of every single hospitality company's goals. That's my message.
Your talent has a direct impact to your bottom line, right? So, all right. Yeah, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you everyone on the webinar. It's been a pleasure. We will have this recording available to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but have a great day, everyone. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Amber.
Take care.
Staff. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.